there's not going to be no trial. They're not going to judge or jury or anything. They're just going to wait till I get outside so I don't make a bigger mess in the bank and execute me. I'm Eric Hollenbeck. Welcome to Tales from the Ox. Hi, folks. It's still winter here at the shop, and so I thought instead of going out in the cold shop, I could tell another story or two. And I'd like to tell a story about growing up in Eureka. I started working on a dairy on the top of Humboldt Hill when I was 15. And it was Dennis Manfreda. You've heard that name over and over and over. He and I were inseparable. When we were 15, we decided to get summer job, and we went up on top of Humboldt Hill, not very far from town, to the Sullivan Dairy. And we started working with Paul Sullivan. We had a bunkhouse that we stayed in, he and I, and we worked through that summer and into the winter. I became head milker. That's pretty cool. Let me tell you what head milker is, okay? Head milker is, I'm 15 and I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go get the cows and bring the cows in and get them all ready to go, and then start them in, and I milk until 6:30. And then Paul comes and he takes over. That's what head milker was. We rented another dairy. Paul did, in Pepperwood. That's south of here, 20 minutes. Beautiful country, right in the middle of the redwoods. A beautiful country. It's the beginning of winter. It's pretty muddy and mucky. And I was wearing rubber boots. I wasn't wearing rubber boots because of the rain and the mud. I was wearing rubber boots because I was mucking out the holding stall. Dennis and I called it the muck stall, and the holding stall is a place that you bring the cows in and get them all ready, and then the doors to the milk room, and you let the number of cows in that you can handle, and then milk them, and they'd go out the other side and go back in the field again, and you would do this rotation. Well, the muck stall is this great big concrete floored room with a concrete brim, 6-8 inches tall, all the way around it. So you got 100 cows in there, and they're getting ready to go eat, and they're getting ready to get milked and all that. Well, folks, they poop and pee. A lot. They know that grain's in there, and I got to clean my system out so I can eat all the grain I can get. And I don't know. So there was this slurry always of of muck. That's what we called it. And I had been in there raking the muck out. All of a sudden, Paul calls me and says, Eric, you got to go with Mr. Gould here. And I noticed that there was another rig in the driveway, and this guy's talking to Paul. His name was Chauncey Marion Gould. And I said, okay, I only got one strike, folks. My whole life I have done what I'm told. That's why I've been married 48 years. I am really good at taking orders. He says, you got to go with Mr. Gould. He's got something that he needs help with at his house. It was actually moving something. He needed my strong back. That's what he needed. But it doesn't matter. So he's driving. He's dressed in, he just looked like us. I don't know how he was dressed. He just looked like us. He didn't look no different at all. Everything was the same. I trudge over to his mid to late 50s Jeep Wagoneer. And Jeeps in those days were all four-wheel drive. That's important because that's coming up. And I go to get in, and the door's wired closed with baling wire. And Chauncey says, oh, no, that door don't open. You got get around on my side and scoot over. All right. So I get around on his side and scoot over. I've driven cars like this. I totally get it. There is nothing weird about this at all to me. I remember the joke of the Eureka farmer at a bar talking with a Texas farmer. And the Texas farmer is going on and on and on about his farm and how great it was and big it was. And Texas farmer says, I can get in my car and drive all day long and still be on my farm. And the Eureka farmer says, yeah, I get it. I had a car like that too. So this is fine by me. There's nothing. Yeah, he's just a guy. I don't even know who the heck he is. I get in his Jeep Wagoneer, scoot over, and he gets in, says, okay, we're going to town. Great, I'm on it. That's what Paul said. Yep. So he starts up the road, and at 50 miles an hour, this thing's doing fine. But you folks have to know that the early four-wheel drives got way loose. That front end, they didn't have that front end down at all. And the front end and he had hit 55, and this rig had started shaking all around, and he'd have to drop down to 50 again. And then we'd be cruising along a little bit, and all of a sudden 55, all the way to Eureka. Come on, I've driven cars like that too. I ain't got no money. I get it. There was nothing about that raised any red flags or anything. It was just, this is the way life is. And he says, wait a minute, we got to make a stop. All right. And he pulls in to Humboldt National Bank. And this is a bank, folks. A bank. Okay. You know, you have to see the hierarchy here. Is God, police and bank, and they're all right up there against the hierarchy to a 15-year-old. So we pull in. He gets out and says, "Come on in." All right. And I go up. He opens the door. He starts walking in. And I look down, and they have white carpet. Maybe not totally white, but really white. You know, like, I don't know, really white carpet. And I stopped. And I said, "Oh, no, I can't go in." And he turns around and glares at me. And I understood in a heartbeat, I'm being told. So I start walking into the bank. And every footstep I took, I could hear it. I'm sure the whole bank could hear it. It was not. And we walk in, and the everybody in the bank says, "Hi, Mr. Gould. How are you, Mr. Gould, sir? Hi today, Mr. Gould." And I am scared to death. And we get up to the counter finally, and I'm standing there thinking, there's not going to be no trial. They're not going to judge or jury or anything. They're just going to wait till I get outside so I don't make a bigger mess in the bank and execute me. I'm done. My life's over. And I haven't turned around and looked yet, see. So they do the banking. "Okay, thank you, Mr. Gould, sir. Wonderful, Mr. Gould, sir." And he turns around and says, "Come on." And I turn around, and here's my footsteps coming in. They're right there. You could see every one of them. So I tried really hard to walk in the same footsteps. Well, all I did was make little cow poop angels, because your boots are kind of curved. So the angel coming in this way, it's got its wings up. The angel coming in this way, it's got its wings up. I make cow poop angels. God. And you have no idea how frightened I was. I was scared to death. This is not a good thing. This is walking up to God with cow poop boots on. We get to the door, and he says, "Now scoot over." I scoot over, and before he started the truck, I said, "Mr. Gould, they're gonna be really, really mad. Really mad." And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Sorry, I made tracks on the carpet going in and out. I ruined their carpet. Oh, that's what you were worried about. See, he thought at the beginning when he glared at me and said, you know, without words, get in here, he thought I was afraid to go into the bank. He didn't realize the reason. Oh, that's what you were worried about. Oh, don't worry at all about that. They'll clean it up, and everything will be fine. Eric, I own the bank. Oh. So the point being, you can't tell a guy by the rig he drives. That's the point of it. You can drive a rig that at 55 miles an hour starts going and be the richest guy in Humboldt County, because he was. I have no idea. But remember that, folks. People in three-piece suits trying to show off how rich they are and driving fancy cars, they're not really rich. They're wealthy. They ain't rich. Rich people walk up to you on the street and you'll never know. Never in 1,000 years. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this story. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And you can also watch videos here and here.